only getting paid 1.95 this year. So even if you bump him up $1 million next year or $1 million point five point oh five and make him a $3 million player, I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, and I mean, there's generally not a huge market for catchers anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. I mean, Vazquez might be overpaid, and that's in the grand scheme of things, not really going to kill you, as far as the luxury tax, but I'm pretty optimistic that, for as long as he's healthy and can get down behind the mound. The one thing about him is he's really stocky for a catcher. I'm going to guess he's one of the more stockier ones in the league. So hopefully that doesn't, shorten his career or whatnot. But there's no sense worrying about that right now anyway. But
he's built like an old time catcher. He's built like Salvador Perez is. He's not built like a Posey.
Right.
He's built like a Molina. He's a normal, in my opinion, like what a catcher should look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at those guys. Ramos, another guy that's a little stockier. Veritek was, the lower half of him was very thick, right? He had thick legs, big thighs, a big ass, but up top he wasn't as big as Sandy. But Sandy's pretty, he's flexible. He moves quick back there, keeps himself in shape.
I remember watching a random game. Probably it must have been 08, 09. It was within his last few years anyway, Veritek's, and he had his foot on the middle of the plate and he was waiting for the ball to come in on a throw that was like a line drive, and the catcher kind of slid into Veritek's foot and then just ricocheted off of him. Like it's like Veritek was like a statue or something, just this iron statue. And the guy, I don't remember who it was, who they were playing, but I was like, man, that guy he's more stout than he looks. And yeah,
he's solid.
Right.
He was solid.
A brick wall back there.
Yeah. The perfect guy to tangle with A-Rod anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just segue into the regular, the complete recap here. The one thing I jokingly was thinking about, though, when we're talking about Vazquez, because I think by no later than the start of the next season, I am going to rename this podcast to something a little more, authentic or something, for Boston baseball. And I was thinking, should it be like the Trade Vazquez podcast or something? Like that would be a good one. I don't know, or the DFA Pedroia
DFA
podcast.
Pomerantz.
Yeah. Well, he'll
be gone next year though.
Yeah, he's in his walk year or his crawl year, whatever. Yeah. So I don't know. That was just one thing, but I don't think it's out of the realm. If they do like Swihart as much as they appear to. And I can't really... I mean, Nunez is... I'm going to assume for now he's probably just going to pick up his player option, but...
I don't think he's going to, because his market value is $11 million. And his player option is only $4 million. So I think he can get more money on the open market from somebody, actually.
He could, yeah. I'm just trying to think, where could Swihart go aside from catcher? I mean... Kinsler, I don't believe, has any options, so he's gone. And I really have no faith in Pedroia coming back. I mean...
Take Swihart second.
Yeah, that seems to be the logical place. And Moreland will be in his second year of that deal. So
his last year as well, yeah.
Yeah, and that's timed pretty well for either Chavez or maybe even Sam Travis, who last I checked was putting up some pretty good numbers in Pawtucket.
Or Devers, if you want to move Devers over there, or whatever it may be. There'll be options there for sure.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting scenario as well. Yeah, because he's... Yeah, let's talk about him real quick. I mean, he had an error tonight. He seems to be somewhat lost at the plate. A lot of the numbers I've been looking at are just post All-Star break. Those are the recent numbers.
Yeah.
And there's some intense background right now. Am I the only one hearing that? Does one of you have something going on right now?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't either. You cut out.
That was.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a bus going by.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's not coming from me, though.
Austin does this show outside the local bus station. So.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't hear anything from y'all.
All right. I think it went away. So the first,
I think we're good.
First semi-technical glitch we've had, but all right, we're good. What I was saying was I've been looking at a lot of stats post All-Star break, and I was kind of surprised that Devers is basically consistent. His numbers have basically been the same. He's hitting about 245 all the way, all the way through the year. So, I mean, he just looks so lost at the plate right now, and I mean, his value has to be his bat because he doesn't have a ton of defensive value. He's going to be a defensive liability in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings of whatever postseason games we're fortunate enough to play. So I don't know how we put him in there if he's not hitting at a good clip. Because Nunez has been hitting, I think, like 350 since early July, and that'll come down most likely. But I feel like I trust his bat in a high leverage situation a little bit more right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like Devers. Obviously, I'm a big Devers guy, and he doesn't add the big defensive value. I don't think he's awful. I think we all kind of agree that he's not like the worst thing in the world out there. But if he's not hitting into the postseason, you'll see Swihart there, I think. He played, 1 or 2 games there, I think, earlier this year. And, he can hit. He can, he's faster than Devers. He's better defensively than Devers. And if they're both going to hit 230, 240, 220, then, who do you go with? You go with Swihart, and you can always bring in Devers off the bench. If you need a pinch hit situation with anybody, if there's a matchup, if Swihart just is over 3 in the night and there's runners on first and second, well, you throw Devers in there, and then you stick whoever you want back in there for the defensive part there in the bottom half of the inning or top and a half. But Devers, he's got a little bad luck as well. You look at tonight, he hit that absolute rocket just right to somebody, right? So I think like Sandy and like Moreland, I think he will turn it around, and I think the luck will start happening a little bit. Tonight he hit that end of the bat, little dinger, and he got that infield single. If he gets a little more luck like that, and he doesn't hit that frozen rope right to a guy, then he's got 2 or 3 RBIs tonight, and he's 2 for 4. So I think he'll come around, but you definitely will see different people there in the playoffs for defensively at the end of games for sure. But even, game 2 or 3, if he struggles a lot, I don't think Cora will stick with them for no reason, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little disappointed tonight when he came up to bat with the bases loaded, and Mookie, I was thinking at that point, I'm like, well, geez, this would be a great spot to put Mookie in, and Devers got the first out, and then was it Leone right after him got the pop up?
Yeah,
and then Mookie came in, and I'm like, wow, why did you wait for 2 outs? Because odds are he wasn't going to hit a grand slam there, and I just figured he could have sparked some momentum, earlier, in the inning, and and I get that Devers that Cora wants to instill confidence in him, but eventually you got to start managing, more critically, to get results in certain situations. Now, we do have a 10-game lead, thankfully, because the Yankees lost tonight, and there's still, roughly 6 weeks of the season left. So, but I don't know. I just like to see the manager be a little bit more aggressive in certain situations.
First of all, Terry, turn up our audio. The live streams can't hear us. Just us in general, not you. But I'm not too worried about Devers. We just got to wait for him to get a groove. And he only has 19 at bats the entire time that he's been up since the injury. So not too worried. I might be a little worried defensively, but obviously, like Dave said, he's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the worst. And on top of that, I think Cora did a good job with managing the pinch hitting and everything like tonight. I love that Pierce came up instead of Mookie earlier in the game. Pierce crushes lefties. And, a freak play, he almost got an RBI there. And he actually could put a good swing on that, just got the end of the bat, which is unfortunate. And it saved Mookie for the rest of the game there. And when it comes to that, the bottom half of the top half of the eighth there, Devers come up. He's swinging all right. He absolutely crushed it. So it was the right call to keep him in because, that ball had an 84 hit chance probability off StatCast. So 84% of the time that's a hit. So, he was right there, just unfortunate, but no double play, no triple play. Sandy's up next, and he got robbed by Hoskins earlier at the warning track on a really nice play. And yesterday he hit a home run. So you got to keep him in there. You don't want Swihart out there because Sandy was swinging a good bat. And then Mookie comes up there and they pinch hit there. So I think it went really well. It just didn't go his way. And then, Mookie got on base and Benintendi was the GOAT there and he ended up rolling out there. But realistically, Devers got unlucky. And if Benintendi gets a single there, we might win this game tonight. And then everyone say, hey, Cora did good. He kept Devers in. He hit a missile. Sandy obviously has had a good bat. Unfortunate. He pitch hit Mookie Betts. Boom, there's Mookie. And then Benintendi's up. So I thought it went well. Just didn't go our way tonight. And I think that happens sometimes. It's easy to say that when you have a 10-game lead like we do. But we had a lot of guys on base tonight. We load the bases 3 separate times. So clearly runners are on, taking walks, getting hits. And it just doesn't go your way tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just want Devers to come around. I mean, we're a better team with Devers being a bona fide middle of the order bat, and it just sometimes. I mean, he could have easily drove in 2 or 3 runs there, but he didn't have the momentum coming into that at bat either, and I just hope he figures it out. And he's had injuries, and it's just been a tough year for him to really get rolling, without some type of a mishap or a slump happening. And I want him to come around. I mean, he was a kind of a key bat last year, in the Astros series. So, I mean, we've seen him do it, and hopefully he just figures it out.
Yeah. I think you just need time for that. And like Austin said, he hasn't had a million at-bats since coming back from his last injury. And nights like tonight, if you want him to turn it around, you can't pitch hit for him. He doesn't get the at-bats and doesn't get in those situations. He can't improve. And he murdered the ball tonight. He didn't strike out in 3 straight pitches. He didn't look ugly up there or anything like that. So little bad luck, and I think he will come around. And when it comes to defensively later in the games, just like if we make it to the World Series, if we have a lead in the 8th or 9th inning and JD Martinez is in right field, he's coming out and Mookie's going in right and JBJ's going in center. Just like you'll see Nunez get shifted over, go in for Devers defensively because he is better defensively, or Swihart even, if Cora really feels comfortable with him. But most likely Nunez and Kinsler will be our everyday second baseman, so no problem defensively there. So you'll see some things change, but I think Devers will come around, and I think Cora's handling it well, and I think he's got the reputation now and the trust from at least me that he'll make a change if needed with Devers.
Hopefully. What about Josh Donaldson? If I don't know, I don't think he's back in the lineup yet for Toronto, but can he throw from third? I mean,
No.
Okay,
that was the reason he's on the DL. He literally can't play third base anymore. They had Russell Martin playing third base at one point this year because Donaldson can't throw.
One more thing on Devers real quick. He's hitting the ball hard, and I can't like put into words how important that is to him. We've seen JBJ hit the ball hard all year. I mean, his exit velo has been phenomenal. He's just not putting in the right spot. That's Devers right now. And we see the results that we're getting from Jackie. Eventually those will come at Devers. We don't know when, but it's definitely coming.
Yeah, I agree. Positive signs there. He's not he's not Vazquez last year who hit 290, but most of them were
Bloops.
singles, bloop singles, and every once in a while hit the home run. He had like 3 last year, but it's the opposite, where they're murdering the ball just right to people.
Well, I mean, I guess I got to be clear on one thing with Devers.